All right, our panel is here, and I can tell you they are warmed up and ready. Jessica Anderson is the Sentinel Action president and former executive director of Heritage Action. She joins us now. Kevin Walling is here, a Democratic strategist and a former Biden campaign surrogate. That makes you wholly qualified to say how you feel about that last comment.
I mean, loved it.
You loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was a great debate. We were talking about it before. I thought actually Sean Hannity did a fantastic job letting them breathe, they covered so much ground from abortion to immigration to the state of the economy, comparing, red states, blue states, Florida, California. I thought it was a fantastic
Kevin
debate.
makes a great point. It was a win. Right? Just getting them on the stage together. That right. is a conversation that did not happen prior to last night.
That's right. We actually know now where the Democratic left is on issues like crime, parental rights, immigration, abortion. It was clear. And Newsom was charming. I mean, he pulled out all the charm, all the good feels
Flashed
from
those
stage.
Pearly whites the whole time, that great hair.
But I got to tell you, every single time Sean put up a graphic, a statistic from the CDC, from Biden's government, there was no way for Newsom to credibly defend his record in California. So who won? Florida won. DeSantis won because of the record, because of how he governed, and because of that great story of Newsom's own father-in-law moving and relocating to Florida for a better life.
Because that was brought up many, many times. Yeah. For those of us who watched the population migration comparison, Ron DeSantis really pushed this idea between 2021 and 2022. This was the migration into Florida, 454,000 people, and out of California, 750,000. That was highlighted many times. Here are some more highlights from last night. I'll get you both to respond. Watch.
The only person who needs to apologize is Ron DeSantis for the tens of thousands of lives that died unnecessarily because he played to the fringe of his party.
He's imposed restrictions on his own people while exempting himself from those restrictions and going to the French laundry.
It's the fifth largest economy in the world. We dominate. Number one manufacturing state.
You have $6 or $7 a gallon gas. How do they afford that?
Talk about working people. They pay more in your state than the state of California.
He's the first governor to ever lose population. They actually at one point ran out of U-Hauls in the state of California because so many people were leaving.
There's some good stuff there. And by the way, the price of a gallon of gasoline in California, we all know it is sky high. It's down from where it was, but it's still almost $5 a gallon compared to Florida, where a gallon of gasoline averages $3.16. So was this an opportunity for Ron DeSantis to really highlight some of his policies economically?
Listen, I think actually Governor DeSantis did a pretty good job. I think there was more on the line for him, obviously, as an active candidate for president. I think this is probably a potential matchup that we'll see in 2028. Gavin Newsom's line that both of us are not going to be the nominee come next November, I think was pretty effective. So there was a lot riding on Governor DeSantis' performance. I think he held his own. We'll see if anything changes. We're 44 days out from Iowa. There's a lot of structural leadership issues with his super PAC, with his campaign, those dynamics at play. He picked up, Governor Reynolds' endorsement in Iowa, the evangelical leadership there as well. We'll see if anything changes, because, again, a lot on the line, 44 days out from Iowa, and all Governor DeSantis' eggs are in that Iowa basket.
Jessica, there was obviously multiple opportunities there for them each to highlight who went wrong during the COVID pandemic. You heard Newsom hitting DeSantis for the lack of shutdowns, saying that thousands of lives were lost unnecessarily. DeSantis, though, highlighting that moment, that for voters, it brought back that memory of that picture of Newsom sitting down at the fancy French restaurant, French Laundry, in the middle of major shutdowns in Newsom's state at that moment.
Yeah, the hypocrisy of Newsom's governing agenda in California, I actually think was on full display last night. And there was a lot of gaslighting by him. I mean, he tried to just zoom past his background on how he handled COVID, on the schools, on the 90 days plus students were actually out of school in the state of California because of the lockdowns. He just wanted everybody to forget about that and to look at the charm. But I think what the American people, and certainly the people I talked to after the debate, saw, they actually saw a stronger DeSantis standing up with the truth on his side, talking about his record, and actually articulating, okay, this is what I've done, now this is what I need to do to turn this country around. And if you noticed, DeSantis actually went back and forth between targeting Newsom and Biden, because I do think even though this was a governor versus governor debate, the point of this was to show he could do this against Biden on the main stage next year.
Fair enough. We'll see what happens with the polls after all this happened. And by the way, to set the record straight, there was this back and forth on taxes. These are taxes per capita in each state. California far exceeds Florida at over $10,000 in Florida. That number's $5,400. And the deficit in California is way more than Florida. It's $31.5 billion versus Florida 17.7. If we're keeping the facts in the picture there.
You're keeping them honest.
All right. Good to have you here. Jessica, Kevin, you are welcome back. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to have you.